Good morning. It is now 5:45 here where I am in Canada, and it's the morning time, and we're going to do a little bit of practice that has some back bending, some stabilizing, some grounding, some connecting to the feet, a little bit of breathing, and I'll be using a bolster or a roller depending on what we're doing. So have something like that close by, and let's have a bit of a practice. We're going to start on our backs, and we're going to do a little bit of breathing to begin. So, come onto your back. Placing your hands on your belly. And begin to breathe. And then bring one hand to your solar plexus and keep that other hand on your lower belly. And depending on what time of day it is for you, connect in with your inhale and your exhale. And just see how your day or your night or your sleep was with you and how you were with your sleep and your day. And then bring both hands up to your chest, just below your collarbones. Okay, so now from here, keeping that breathing really easy, you're going to start to take your legs into rotation. Now you'll notice here with my feet aren't sliding in towards each other into Baddha Konasana. What I'm doing is I'm just rotating my leg bones in the sockets, and I'm bringing them back up again. Into the sockets, just like so. An easy, 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 easy breath. Now if you want to up your game with how you're moving and how well you're moving, bring your fingers just into the front of your hips here. And notice if your hip flexor is starting to fire as you take your legs wide. So the idea here is that your legs are just moving in rotation. Just moving in rotation. So these guys don't actually have to be firing. Let's just slow it down a little bit more. Okay, lovely. And then bring that back. Bring your hands onto your belly again. And now I want you to feel your pelvic floor. And you're going to take a look. This is a female pelvic floor. But you get the idea that these are the two sitting bones. And this is the sacrum and the coccyx. This is all that pelvic floor, and here are the orifices of the pelvic floor. And I want you to see if you can just feel the muscles or the tissue that's in between this triangle. So the tip of the coccyx, the two sides of your sitting bones, and then the pubic bone here. Can you just feel this? And how you might feel it is through your orifices. So notice if you feel your anal sphincter, and then moving forward for women if you're feeling vaginal, and then urinary. And just get a feel if you can sense that. Now, it wouldn't surprise me at all if your pelvic floor is a little hypertonic these days. And so if it is, like if it feels tight, if it feels like you can't feel it, like if it feels numb, if it feels, like it's difficult to connect, feel that, because that's a feeling in and of itself. So just feel here. And then if you can feel, it's usually the anal orifice that we can feel more because it's bigger and it's got a little bit more power around it, is that notice that area of your pelvic floor. And can you relax a little bit or breathe or just notice it? I can't emphasize how it's kind of wackadoodle a little, and it's kind of cool at the same time, if we can use those words together. When people start to learn how to connect here through the pelvic floor and breathe through those orifices, even if it's just one, how much more grounded you become. It's so wackadoodle, it's really cool. So I remember I mentioned this in another video, how I learned this initially from a martial artist, and that when I breathed through my pelvic floor, he could not lift me off the floor. And this dude was big. He just couldn't lift me because I was just grounded. So it wasn't using my head or my brain or anything to try to ground myself. I was just breathing through here. So as I've taught that to other clients, they've noticed the same things, from people running faster to hitting the ball when they play baseball faster to just being more solid, even in arguments with their spouse, which you would be having one or two of, I don't know, maybe. Yeah, so think about that. So I'm going to come back onto my back, and I want you to feel your pelvic floor. So you've got the diamond, right? Like you've got the diamond, the pubic bone, and the coccyx, and the two sitting bones. And then just feel through that pelvic floor. And this is going to be interesting for when we get into doing a bit of a bridge pose. Just being able to connect here. Okay. And then connect with your breathing and with your pelvic floor. And if you can, right, and you might not be able to do this, but if you can, see if you can just connect easy breathing with it right down into the pelvic floor, right? Because your diaphragm is the top of the canister of your inner core, and your pelvic floor is the bottom. And so the two of them move together, hopefully. Not all the time, particularly in times like this. They might not be. That pelvic floor might be just like, right? Which is okay. Just connect with wherever you can feel it. Try not to change it. Okay? All right, so now from here, you're going to take your fingers and you're going to touch them thumb tip to thumb tip, or you can use a strap. Totally up to you. Okay, so I'll start with the strap, show you how that works. And the arms are going to come over your head like this. Okay? If it's thumb tips like this, then you're taking the arms over your head. Now, a couple little things here. The movement here is your arm bone in the shoulder socket. So that's the movement. It's not this. Yeah? So that's the movement. It's also not that. So just be aware if your ribs want to pop up, and really focus on this being the articulating joint. I can't emphasize it enough, like when we do the movement properly, how much better that we feel in through our neck, in our backs, in our breath. And then notice if there's any wobbly, or if there's any clunking or clicking or pain, and move in a range that has pain-free, or pain doesn't go up, and no clunk or click. And then connect back to your pelvic floor and see if you can still breathe. Lovely. Okay, so now we're going to put that off to the side. Now what you're going to do is just feel those feet, the 3 points of your feet, the center of the heel, the ball of the foot, and the base of the pinky toe. So it's like you've got a tripod that you're standing on. And you're connecting between your pelvis and your ribs here. And you're just lifting up through your hips into a bridge. Okay, and then you're coming back down. So the movement, the primary articulating joint is through your hips. So you're moving through your butt, extending that hip, right? So do you see how this angle goes from small and then it opens up, so to speak? Okay? And the other articulating joint is this part of your chest in and around that shoulder joint. So sometimes what can happen, and you'll see it here, like with my hand here, you can see how my rib cage is moving around there. Now sometimes what can happen is when people are lifting, they come into a position like this, right? Which if you're limited up through your shoulder, that might be what you do. Sometimes people are just unaware of it. So if I put my thumb at my ribs and my fingers at my pelvis, those two are staying connected. I don't need to grip my abdomen or anything like that. And I'm not pushing my feet down to lift up. I'm just utilizing in through my glutes to lift and extend and then down. Okay, good. And then take a breather there for a moment. And just easy, easy, easy breathing. Lift one leg up. You're going to rotate that leg bone, and you're going to take the ankle onto the knee. So that pelvis, the whole time, was quiet, and this leg bone was, the articulating joint was the leg bone in the hip socket. And then now watch this. See how my leg, it looks like it's my knee, but it's actually down at my hip. Articulating joint down at the hip, that's where that leg bone is moving. Okay, and then we're going to take that off. Good. Now watch this here. So I'm coming up. Articulating that joint in the hip. That's the primary mover. And then onto the leg. Yeah. And then I move that leg into rotation. And if you want to kind of play around more with your awareness, notice if this hand here in the front of the hip, notice if those hip flexors are starting to grip as you push the leg away into rotation. The movement is arising from this hand here, from the bum. Okay, good. Now we're going to stretch out a little bit here. And this leg is going to come up to about 9 degrees. Now let's watch this. We're going to bring this leg across the body. Okay, and then we're going to bring it back for a sec. And we're going to bring it across the body so it's just that leg bone. And then that hand's going to come over and you're going to come into a twist. Easy, 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 easy breath. Okay, so now you know what that movement is. Now as you come on up and you bring that up, notice what's happening in that pelvic floor and what's happening with your breath as you bring that leg across. And you come into the twist. The shoulder girdle is easy on the floor. Good. And then come on back. Good. And then bring those legs back up again. Okay, now come back to this position here. Leg comes up. Rotate that leg bone. And now notice if there's anything different as you do it. Is there any feeling that's new or different? All right, and then that comes off. Now, a big reason I bring the leg up first, like this, so I can play with the articulating joint, is to really be clear that it's the leg bone that's doing the movement and the pelvis is quiet. Okay, good. And then take that ankle off. All right, let's come back into bridge pose. So now we're playing around here, ribs to pelvis connection. Just be conscious and aware, and then bring yourself up. Yeah. Good, and then down. Notice the 3 points of your feet. You don't need to push them down. The driver is your hips, not your feet. Ribs and pelvis are connected. Okay, lovely. So now we're going to bring over the bolster or the roller. So both will work. You have the bolster or a roller. So when it's the roller, what it looks like is that. And you're just letting the roller rest on your pelvis, or your pelvis rather is resting on the roller. But it doesn't feel like you're going to roll this way or this way. Like it's just stable. Okay? You can also use the bolster. It doesn't matter the size. Mine tends to be big. I'll also do the same thing like this. It's totally up to you. Okay? Neither is better. It's more about kind of what you have in your yoga place and what feels good. Okay? So we're just going to be here, roller or bolster. And then just easy settling into the bolster and breathe. You can also use a block as well underneath your pelvis. That works as well. Easy inhale and easy exhale. Now you might like this just here and that's it. You also might not like this at all. You would be like, this is ridiculous. I don't like this at all. So then take the roller out if you don't like it. And you can just come back onto your back. You can do bridge pose. You can do the ankle to the knee. You can do the supine twist. Okay? You can also, if you're here and you are liking it, you can take one leg up and then the other leg up. Okay? And if that's a little too much, then you can just be here. Yeah. Okay, and let's play around with ankle to knee again. So you're going to cross the ankles. You're going to do this. And then you're going to gently notice how I'm moving all through my hips here. Yeah, like that. And then on this side, this leg bone is moving away. Okay, and then you can bring that leg back up. And then cross. And notice that what I'm not doing is I'm not grabbing my leg and then bringing it down, because that becomes a movement of my arms outside here, like this. And more what I want you to focus in on is having this all be at your hip. If we do our movements where we're powering them from our other limbs, then our brain then thinks that that's how we do the movement, is through our other limbs. But we want to help retrain so that it's the actual hip muscles that are doing the rotation. It's the hip muscles that are doing the movement. This is why I like to say that strength really is very easy. What's difficult sometimes is getting the movement patterns that underline it, getting those in a really nice and simple place. So there's good communication between brain and tissue. And once you get that, then we can just add more and more load and progress really quite easy. So if you want to play around this a bit more, so as this leg moves away, this hip flexor here, that ought not to be firing. Now this one, on this side, on this leg, it will be, because it's holding that leg into hip flexion. Okay? All right, and then bring the legs back up. Lovely. Okay. So this one you're going to have to go step by step. I can't see you through this lovely video medium, and so you have to really pay attention to yourself as we move down. Okay, so you're going to take one leg down here. Okay, now, you can leave this leg up, or you can also bring it down. I'm going to show you both. So if you keep the leg up, then look at what happens with my other leg. I'm going to slowly straighten it out, like so. Okay, we come back a little bit here. Okay, so you can be here, or you can be like this. Okay, so if I did it on the other side, you could be like this, or you can be like this. Now, this might be too much for you. You might find it too much on your back or on your pelvis, and so you find the place. Maybe it's right here. Maybe you stay right here. The idea is don't all of a sudden try and force yourself into the position if it's not working. All right, so you can just kind of play with what you're feeling. But again, remember, I can't emphasize this enough, is to really honor what the whispers are saying in your body about whether you're going too much or not. Okay, you're going to bring that up. So you can do it like so. You can keep this foot on the ground. You can have this leg up. They're all very, very different positions. So you feel into your own body. Okay? Just because I'm doing this doesn't make it good. It's whatever works for your body. Okay? All right, lovely. And then bring both legs back up again. And then bring the legs one at a time. And then lift the hips and take it over to the side. Okay. So then, from here, just feel what you feel in your body. And let's do something kind of fun. Let's take this leg back up, rotate it, and bring the ankle onto the knee. And does that feel any different now? As you move that leg into the hip socket, is that any different? And then the other side. So much of the process of getting grounded, of moving better, of reducing pain, of eradicating pain, has to do with your own level of awareness and being able to be aware of what's going on in your body, right? So sometimes doing a movement and then doing some other stuff and then coming back can be really, really helpful, okay? So let's straighten that leg out now, bring this knee up. Let's see what happens as you bring the leg across and then into the twist. And my hand here is butterfly pressure. Good, and then coming back. Lovely. Good. And then come here. Okay. Let's do another check-in with your pelvic floor and just see where that is at. Right? So feel the diamond, right? That diamond of your pelvic floor, the pubic bone, the coccyx, and the two sitting bones, and the muscle tissue that's in the middle, and then the orifices. So the pelvic floor needs to be both strong and supple because those orifices need to be open to enable fluid and matter, right? So just notice what you feel there. And can you breathe through the orifices? All right, and now let's come back into bridge. See where you're at.
Okay, so if you're feeling comfortable in bridge, now we're going to start to do some stability work here. So you're going to be up into bridge, okay, and I'm going to take more weight into this leg now. So I'm going to feel a little bit more weight coming into this leg. I'm going to take a bit more weight out of my opposite leg. So my butt here is going to get a little stronger. My leg is going to get a little stronger. And this right side is getting a little lighter. And then I'm going to come down. Okay, just take a break. Let me make this angle this way. So I'm going to lift. Now this time I'm going to make my right side a little stronger. And I'm going to take a little weight out of my left side. Okay? Now you probably can't see this, but it's just taking strength from one side and getting one leg a little stronger, taking a bit of weight out of the other side. Now one thing I do want you to pay attention to, if you want to take a look at the screen for a moment, I'm going to do it this way. So if you aren't doing this properly, what you'll see happen is this. You'll see your pelvis drop to one side. So when you're gaining more strength in through here, you're going to notice that as I lift my leg, which we're going to do in a moment, that pelvis should stay exactly where it is. But there's no back pain and no back strain. Okay, that's number one, big stars, bold, flashing lights all around that. No back pain, okay? So that's why I'm doing this in small little steps. So you're here, you're taking a little bit of weight out of one side, you feel the strength start to develop in this butt cheek, not in your back, not in your SI, nowhere up and through here. You're not getting tension up in there. The load is being taken through your bum and in through your hamstring, but not so much that your hamstring will cramp. Okay? And so if you can, then you can slowly bring and peel off one heel. Right? So if I'm here in this angle, then I slowly peel off the heel. And then if you can keep your pelvis level, then you can lift a foot. And then maybe even come to here. But remember, this is the process. It's not the exercise, right? So you determine what amount of stability and control that you have around doing this movement. So just kind of taking weight into one side, and then weight into the other, and if you feel like you can lift a foot, lift a foot. If you feel you can straighten the leg, no back strain, then do that. Okay? And then come on down. Now let's do a check. Okay, now you're going to be lying down on your back now. And if you're lying down on your back and you feel something tension in your lower back, then that's a really good sign that you went too far. Now you might have known that you went too far, but you're like, no, I really wanted to try that exercise anyway. And so if you went too far and because you wanted to try the exercise, then it makes sense that you went too far. If you didn't notice something was happening while you were doing that movement, then this is a really good opportunity for you to be able to feel and kind of become aware of that movement pattern. Because if you've got strain post-exercise, it just means that the movement pattern wasn't quite appropriate for you. And so it may be that the exercise, maybe like doing the bridge and the de-weighting was appropriate. It may be that you just went too far and that made it. So you get to explore how that fits for you. Okay? All right, so let's come back here. Let's just come back into a regular bridge. All right, lovely. Bring one leg to your belly, hands come around the thigh, and leg starts to come up towards the sky. Easy breathing. to bring that down, and then other side. Nice. All right, so then we're going to come on up here and then grab your roller or bolster or block and then have a seat. And we're going to finish off with a twist and then a gentle sitting practice, okay? So from here, bring your hands to here, and you're going to start to take a twist. Okay, arms like so. Reach one arm forward, pull the other shoulder blade back. And then come back. Hands here, take the twist. And then this arm comes forward, the other shoulder blade back. All right, good. And then come in here. Perfect. All right, now. And sitting here. Back with your hands. Hand in hand. Okay, I want you to close your eyes for a moment. Feel the breath through your body. And feel how it's moving your ribs and your belly. Or not, because if your breath is really held, it might not. So just notice what the breath is doing, okay? And stay connected there with your breathing. Okay, so now keep your eyes closed. I want you to ask yourself what it is that you really, really, really want. Feel it in your body. And then say it to yourself as if you've already accomplished it, or that you have it, or that you're being it. So instead of saying I want, it's that I have, or I am, or I've done. Easy breath and feel that. And feel what that feels like in your body. Yeah.
So here's to connecting. Here's to getting grounded. Here's to being calm, steady, and strong. You have a great rest of your day. Let's knock this one out, okay? Take care. See you soon.